Alright, so it's been a while since I played this game, and I didn't just get out from watching the movie, but I just saw the movie, Sunday, February 1st, and I thought, you know what, why not hop back into the game and talk about the movie adaptation and pros, cons, stuff like that. There's not going to be really any structure to this. I'm kind of going to be going off the dome on what I talk about, but I have a lot to say about this movie because, well, I mean, let's be real. If the movie inspired me to come back to this game after 2 years, I think I played it in 23, and I liked it. I liked the movie a lot, but I think before I hop into the game, because the second we hop into the game, I'm gonna get into like spoilers and stuff. So before we do that, I just want to kind of talk about the movie overall, spoiler free. And if you're considering watching this movie for yourself, first of all, you should. We should be funding this. We should be given back to Markiplier because this movie is impressive. On a less than $3 million budget, solely financed by one guy, I gotta say, this movie is impressive. The acting, the practical effects and the sets, and just the tone. It's extremely well crafted for someone's technically debut. Well, yeah, this is his film debut. I know he's done skits and stuff on YouTube, but for his film debut, for me, it's a 9 out of 10. I really liked this movie, but I understand where some people might not like it because it is a very slow burn-ish movie. It all takes place not necessarily in one place, but you only see one room basically the entire time. So 98% of the movie takes place in the Iron Lung, and that's fine. That's basically what we're going to be getting into with the gameplay. That's the entire thing. Some people, especially people who aren't really familiar with it, might not buy into it or might not really understand what's going on. And I will talk about the actual adaptation portion of the movie, like whether it was a good adaptation or not once we get through the game, because I need to refamiliarize myself with this whole thing because it's been a while. I would recommend it. I would say, support a brother, support Markiplier. He's done a phenomenal job, and I now understand why he ended up in the hospital with those bloodshot eyes. So if anything, go to the movie theaters to pay respects for this man's suffering, because he deserves it. All the love and support. All right. So, like I said, I don't have really a structure for this. So I guess I'll kind of mention things from the game or from the movie as we run into them in the games or run into similar things, and I'll kind of be, like I said, it's going to be off the dome. I don't have a script or anything for this because I kind of just want to get all my thoughts out on the table. And honestly, this video might end up being unwatchable dog shit. It might be so unstructured that it's unwatchable, and I apologize if that's the case. I'm gonna try my best to put it together in a format that everyone can kind of watch. But let's hop in to the Iron Lung and discuss the Iron Lung movie. Decades ago, every known star and habitable planet vanished, leaving only those who were on space stations or starships. This event became known as the Quiet Rapture. With supplies dwindling and infrastructure crumbling, survivors are searching for any trace of natural resources in the universe of barren moons, lit by ghost light of vanished stars. One such moon holds a strange anomaly, an ocean of blood. York, a convict tasked with exploring this anomaly in a makeshift submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung. It was not designed for this depth, so you will be welded inside, and the forward window will be closed. There was no time for training. If successful, you will earn your freedom. So I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot about this plotline. Spoiler territory, by the way, since we're going to be playing the game, so naturally there would be spoilers in the game. But we're also going to be spoiling the movie because the movie is a little bit different. Didn't really do too much research on the game again after watching it, but I forgot about this plotline entirely. I forgot about the Quiet Rapture, so when they started talking about the Quiet Rapture in the movie, I was kind of lost, like what's going on. But yeah, so basically, the movie, 1-to-1, it does the same thing. Every planet and star is gone. All the stars you see in the night sky are just, the remaining light that is left traveling, obviously to your eyes. But eventually all those stars are going to go out. And all these moons are here. The one thing, I think there's one major backstory thing that they added to the movie that I thought was really interesting. And I don't know if Markiplier's character Simon is going to be the same character as the one we play in the game. I'm going to call him Markiplier. I'm sorry, it's just that's who he is. Hello, everybody. That guy. In the movie, he was responsible, or at least him and a group of people are responsible for destroying one of the remaining spaceships, or maybe the big one. I don't know. But he was responsible for killing a bunch of people on a huge space station that probably housed a good chunk, if not the majority, of the remaining humans alive. But yeah, basically all humans on any planet were dead, and the only ones alive are the ones that were just kind of floating in space, which is very interesting. It doesn't shock me that Markiplier would tackle a movie like this, because, you know, we've all heard space is cool. We all know he likes space.
Beginning your descent.
Okay. Is this...
Cruising depth in roughly 40 seconds. Stand by.
Alright.
I'm seeing some voltage irregularities in the instruments, so keep an eye out for sparks or flames or anything like that.
That line was in the movie. Something like that.
Approaching maximum depth. The hull's feeling it, but it's still holding strong.
You guys did test this, right? Alright. Okay, so... Oh, wow. Alright. The set in this movie was incredible. A little longer. You know, there was a bit more room for him to move around than there is here. But everything is the same. You know, you got this big button, you got this terminal here. I mean, the actual terminal was slightly different, but I was impressed by how accurate the actual lung was. They did a phenomenal job with that. 2 weeks ago, we conducted an exploration of Moon AT5 for the first time since the Quiet Rapture, leading to the discovery of a fourth blood ocean. A trench beneath the ocean's surface has several points of interest. Your task is to photograph these points of interest with the SM-13's forward camera. Photos must be taken within 2 units of the specified position at 10 degrees of the specified angle. You can also use the camera to help with navigation. Only photos taken at the specified points of interest will be saved. Since you can't navigate by sight, pay attention to your coordinates and consult the map. The proximity indicators next to the subcontrols will trigger if you get close to an obstacle. Good luck. Okay, and then tab is the map. I'm remembering this now. I kind of want to go explore this area up here, because in the movie, he ends up somewhere like way over here, to the side of the map, and he has to like navigate through it himself to get kind of back to where he's got to go. I kind of want to know if that's actually in the game or not. I kind of doubt it. But if that is, that'd be a really cool touch, because I think that's one thing that this game could have benefited from, was maybe you had to map it yourself. I mean, it would be a little more tedious that way, but still, I can use the terminal. I don't even know if I used the terminal last time I played this, but theorize, the something of iron, what was it? I don't remember the name. I'm sorry, Markiplier. I guess I wasn't watching your movie. What about Markiplier? What does he have a thing? Unknown query. Okay, that makes sense. What about... Interesting. So the reason I was looking up X-ray and photography is because in the movie, I don't know if it's in the game, but in the movie, the actual photos we're taking, this thing, that is radiation in the movie. Now in here, it sounds like it's actually a photo being taken, but in the movie, it's blasting radiation out, because you can't really take photo in blood because it's opaque. But whoa, hello? This should be dripping. Okay, we'll get on with the game. But yeah, that's one distinction that I was very interested in. It makes a lot of sense though. We're like right here, and then 116. So we'll ignore it. But so, let's talk about the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie, I will admit, a little slow. There was one part about him really getting acclimated that I think could have been a little shorter. But I think the deceit from the COI was very interesting. They were talking about how this is the first ship, like this is the test, when it was very clear that it wasn't. I don't actually know what his objective was down there besides like look around. I don't know if he actually had to go and take photos of these designated locations like we do, because after a certain point it kind of goes off the rails, and like I said, he ends up somewhere like over here. Let's take this photo. Let's take the first photo. I do not know what that is. So, now it's checked off on our map. So let's talk about Markiplier and his acting in this movie, because guys, he might have cooked. I was pleasantly surprised by Markiplier's ability to act. Well, maybe not ability to act, but ability to act in such a serious movie, because he did a very good job portraying the like dread and terror you would feel being in such a claustrophobic space with no way of seeing it, like what's around you on this this desolate blood planet, dude. I'd be scared enough going down into a blood ocean, but you're telling me I can't look around, and that's a whole different story. There was one moment in the film where Markiplier just got so sick of like the malfunctions on the ship and everything, and he just like screamed it with rage, and I felt that. I felt that. That was the part in the movie where I was like, whoa, okay, this guy might be cooking. He was taking a lot of pictures like in the game, but it was more for navigation purposes, and like I said, I kind of wish the game had more of that, because is that really what I need to take a picture? I guess that's really what I need to take a picture of. There's fucking, that's nothing, man. And about the practical stuff, I mean, like I said at the beginning, the ship was extremely impressive. Like the set, and I know that it was on one of those like spider rigs where you could kind of, you know, like move him around, because there are plenty of times in the movie where Markiplier just gets thrown around. Like he was hitting pipes and then these wheel things with like his head, he was like rolling around. But yeah, there were plenty of times where he was just kind of getting thrown around, and then obviously later on the blood getting everywhere and he was in his eyes. Like Markiplier didn't just painstakingly go through the process of writing a movie, he was like physically abused as well going through this whole thing. I will say, I think the reason I wasn't expecting the movie to be all that it was is because I wasn't, like, not that I'm not impressed by this game, because I think the concept is really good. It's just a very slow game. And I will admit, okay, can we hit the button? Can we just keep our hand on the button? And I will admit, I wasn't like the biggest fan of it when I first played, but honestly, I think the movie made me much more of a fan, because I was able to, okay, all right. I'm getting it. There's a wall right there. I gotta go down. But I would say after watching the movie, I'm definitely more of a fan of the concept of it, because I now understand the story of it. And, you know, I would like to see maybe an expansion on some of the ideas here, but the story is a very kind of one and done thing. I went with the same group of friends I go to see like every big movie like this with. I could tell by the end of it, some of them weren't really into it, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with not really being into a movie. Anyone who's saying the movie is bad just doesn't really have an appreciation for the amount of time and effort and passion that goes into projects like this, because the movie's not bad. I think at worst, like, you know, at worst someone could rate it a 5 out of 10. Right? That's reasonable. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Hello? What am I supposed to do about that? That doesn't seem good. What is this? Was this here in the did I notice this last time? Because I didn't know that. This is not an expedition, it is an execution. When they put you in here, they don't want you to return, and even if you do, and even if they keep their promises, what freedom waits for you? A few dying ships in a sea of dead stars. I will choose to breathe my last here at the bottom of the ocean, unseen, unheard, uncontrolled. They will get their execution. I will get my freedom. There was one plot device that was very interesting in the movie, and we're going to talk about it because I'm done just waiting for the stuff to happen. There are hallucinations. Markiplier tweaks out a little bit, and I think it might be because of CO2 deprivation. O2 deprivation. CO2 expo... What do we got? What the fuck is that? I think we investigate. We get a bit closer. Dude, that's actually kind of scary. Can I get killed by him if we're gonna ram him. We're gonna ram him. We need to get a sample. What? I'll be honest, I think I was hallucinating. And speaking of hallucinations, let's get back to my fucking point. Markiplier hallucinates some things, right? And I don't remember them being in the game, but they might be. Because the movie leans heavily into, yeah, okay, he's still there because I just got the photo. So when I take the photo again, he's gone. Okay, I was right. And there's a reason why he what the hell? Start talking, man. There's a reason why he hallucinates, and it's probably because of oxygen deprivation, but also because there's something about this ocean that's just not right. Besides the millions of gallons of blood, obviously. There's something else wrong. And it's not explored in the game, which I thought was interesting. Or maybe it is explored and it's more subtle and kind of more behind the scenes. But there's something up with this ocean that has to do with quiet rapture. And we will be seeing something related to that rapture very soon. Well, not very soon. It's probably going to be another fucking hour before I get there. Let's see what we got. Oh, the skeleton. Skeleton. All right. So early in the movie, there's a skeleton. And honestly, I think this reveal, not understanding really how the game mechanics worked really well. He finds a skeleton in the movie and they're like, a skeleton. Why is there a skeleton? And later on, when Markiplier's tweaking, they actually go up to the surface, into another ship, like the hangar, basically, for the ship. And Markiplier's getting pissed because it's like the deal was I go down, I come up, I'm free. Fair. I'd crash out too if I was him. In his anger, he like tries to flashbang them. It's like, I'm gonna show them. Hits the button, hits this little button here. Boom. Bright ass light outside. Turns out that is an X-ray. That's not a photo, it's an X-ray. And there was someone putting something on front of the ship to like get a sample for something. And he gets up, and so does the person running the program. But that makes you wonder, and that made me immediately clicked that what he saw down there was maybe not a skeleton. That is one of the things I really do like about the movie, is that it doesn't hold your hand. It really doesn't. And maybe that's a shortcoming, maybe that's a good and bad thing, but it doesn't hold your hand when it comes to at least figuring out the mystery. I put that together like immediately. I like turned to my friend, I went, did I ever finish my point about the hallucinations? Okay, so the first hallucination, which, like I said, don't know if it occurs in the universe, in the game, I mean, but the first hallucination is Markiplier turns around and he sees a figure kind of sneak behind this little wall here. And I don't remember that from the game, but maybe it'll happen and you will know what I'm talking about. You know, Markiplier's hallucinating, he's hearing voices that know his name, stuff like that. Wait, where am I? 280. Okay, so I am here. So I think I just go straight. I'm never going to get that hallucination part out. I'm never going to get that part. Like, I'm never going to do... Okay, we're back here. Anyway. Later on, Markiplier's hallucinating again, and he's back here, and he's on this terminal or something, and he turns and comes over here, and there's someone sitting in the chair. The guy in the chair, it's like a weird amalgamation of like teeth and stuff. It's kind of like it looks like a Resident Evil zombie mutation kind of thing going on with teeth like all over. It turns around, and Markiplier just goes, hell no, and he goes into the corner. The same way that earlier in the movie, Markiplier turned around in his chair and saw that. So there's a connection there. Something was going on. I need to think about it more, and maybe I'll never really get it, because I get the whole hallucination thing, right? But how, if Markiplier and that thing are exactly the same, which I believe he is, how did Markiplier, when he was in the, the early part of the movie, turn around and see him from the future? But it looked like a monster, I'm not 100% sure what that means. I think we're out. Oh my god, dude, don't do that shit. 613, 197. What the fuck was that? What did I hit? Did I hit something? Because last time I hit something, I died. So that tells me I didn't actually hit something. Wait, whoa. I went way too far forward. Hold up. 613 and 197. I am... Where am I? 563. I am like right here. 348. I am... How did I end up over here? I'm not tweaking about that. Oh, I'm mixing them up. No, wait. 348. No, I'm not mixing them up. 348 is right here. And then 560... Okay, first of all, I'm like right here. How the f did I get up here? That's so bizarre. I don't remember that happening. But, you know, maybe that can explain how Markiplier ended up in that random-ass section. Because there's an in-game event that happens that just tells you, you're going here now. Alright, so, you know what? As we're reaching towards the end, let's discuss the actual threat. The actual threat is that the ocean is, like, alive or something. And I'll explain a little what my theories are after I kind of give you the gist. Basically, Markiplier starts hallucinating a voice coming from this speaker that is actually not in the game. But there's a speaker in the ship, and he starts hearing another voice, presumably from another ship that's also stuck down there. Because it's a person crying about how they're, like, trapped. And she guides Markiplier to some anomaly that we will be running into. But basically, it is revealed that isn't a person. Or maybe it was a person. But I think it's the... Okay, we don't need to be doing that. That scared that actually, like, made my heart drop. He's talking to what I believe to be the fish. Frog, as they call him. And they call me that, too. Oh, did I even mention? Later in the movie, it turns out he goes in, like, a circle or whatever. And he does end up back where he found the original skeleton. The skeleton is gone when he comes back. And he's like, with the skeleton's gone. And he takes a few more photos a little bit, and then all of a sudden... There's a fish there. There's a fish there. There's something there. The skeleton's back, dude. Oh my god. So good. So good. There's a lot of little things here and there, and there's a lot of good shots that they do. One of the key aspects of the... Dude, I should have been talking about this earlier. See, like I said, this video is probably dog shit to watch. I'm so sorry. But one of the cool things they do with the lighting is that for the photos... Instead of it just being like, you know, you hear kind of like a typewriter or like a fax machine noise, it like is a whirring noise, like a radioactive whirring noise, and it just flashbangs you. But basically, there's plenty of times where he uses this camera as a light source. Just the lighting effect of the thing just flashbanging every time and then like fizzling away is so cool. The lighting was really well done. And there's a bunch of really cool camera angles. There's an inverted shot from like... right here, like the camera's like angled right here, angled backwards towards me and down at the little like the spinning like angle thing, and the reflection is showing Markiplier like backing up and taking like a picture, and you see in the reflection, I think they made every possible camera angle and shot that they could have with this movie. Like they went all out with the camera work, and it was just so cool to see. Huh? Oh my god! In the movie, at least the little warning speaker's like, fire, 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 or hull breach, hull breach. They don't warn me here. Oh, okay, it's happening. It's right there. Okay, so this part was one of the most interesting things in the entire movie, and I think it gets explained better. This anomaly. Oh my god. So, in the movie, I think the way I understand it is this anomaly is a fragment of the Quiet Rapture. I have absolutely no clue how it connects to what's going on here. But there's a reason, and this is probably part of the reason, why the sea is made of human blood. It's established that it's human DNA. The Quiet Rapture didn't seem to just take everyone away. I think my understanding is the Quiet Rapture took everyone and made them some sort of creature. Some sort of hive mind or something. My theory from the movie, and we're gonna get to heavy spoilers. I should have mentioned that. We're gonna get to heavy spoilers for the very end of the movie. Markiplier finds this thing and has the absolute trip of his life. He starts tweaking like crazy. He's all of a sudden teleported out of the Iron Lung, and all of a sudden he's like in the sea of blood. And all of a sudden he looks up into the sky, and sees this giant eyeball. Oh my god. That scene was just so well done. I got that photo, right? Okay, we're gonna see if we can ram this thing. I kind of want to see what happens if I go into it. Because in the movie, he goes into... Excuse me? Can you not go into it? Because he hallucinates when he goes into it, and he sees all this stuff. Like, he sees the eyeball, and it's this collective of voices talking to him. And yeah, okay, so I'm basically inside of the anomaly, and it's not doing anything. So unfortunately, it doesn't do anything to you. And I think the way that Markiplier and David obviously worked with him too, but I got hit again, and I am in a completely different place again. I'm in a completely different zone. I am at 277, 635, 277, 6. So I'm out of that cave. You notice how it got like much quieter? I don't know what that is. I don't know why that's happening. Maybe it's like, okay, well you already went through the hell of going through that awful section. Let's just spit you out in a random place. I don't know what that's about. If that's maybe me hallucinating and like forgetting, or maybe the animal, the fish got me, the frog. I don't know. It's so bizarre. Now we're in the end game. I will be discussing the end game because it is very different. Or I'll be discussing the end of the movie because it's very different from how the movie ends. Huh? So as I mentioned, there seems to be a collective hive mind caused by this quiet rapture. It seems like everybody that disappeared became one being, but there's one not really disclosed aspect of this blood that was very interesting. There's a scene in the movie, and it's honestly one of my favorite moments. It's such a small thing, but it's one of my favorite moments, where towards the end, Markiplier gets a little bit of, like, he's getting blood all over him or whatever, and he gets blood, it drops like right on his forehead. And there's a really cool close-up shot of that blood just straight up cutting through his head, like disintegrating his skin. Like, I don't think I 100% realized it, but I think that was when I started to really put the pieces together, that this blood is trying to assimilate with, or like trying to assimilate Markiplier into its collective mind. But of course they would know Simon's name if it was like a collective of people, but also this fish is goddamn telepathic. It's revealed that it is the fish talking to him. And there's a point in the movie where Markiplier... That's weird. Oh my god. 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 What the fuck? I shouldn't have done that. I think I ignored that last time I did that, because I don't remember that. I feel like it's over. I feel like it's so over. Oh, I'm hating this. Alright, hold up. I gotta lock the hell in. What was I even talking about? I don't remember. This was not a good idea. This whole video was not a good idea. Should just made a dead-ass, just like a regular review of the movie. Good movie. That's my review. Markiplier is fighting with this entity, because eventually all the blood starts congealing and it starts taking over the ship, right? And eventually Markiplier like gets kind of connected to it. He rips his arm off because he's like, it's trying to assimilate to him. And you know, the goal is to get a black box of information, because Markiplier finds a research ship, and that research ship downloads to his. The person up top conducting the experiment, or whatever this is supposed to be, is coming down in her own ship, which I actually didn't realize originally. That was my friend that pointed that out to me. She comes down, and the fish gets angry. It's like, you don't want to help her, join us or whatever. It's like your species is cooked, stuff like that. But the fish gets angry and destroys that ship. And you see him take, oh my god, it's so good, because he takes a photo of it and you see it eating the ship of the commander coming down, or whatever her role is. The fish gets a hold of it, Markiplier's fighting it, killing its teeth or whatever, and then eventually Markiplier kind of just... Chat, is this the end? I think this is the end of the game. This game doesn't end the way the movie does. Okay, I was dead ass like entirely prepared for a jump scare there, and the way to go up is like 675. So we're just gonna go 675 and go straight up. I wonder what this last photo is gonna look like, chat. What are you guys thinking? I'm thinking it's gonna look really cool. 675, 828. You got it, fella. Let's do it. You think we're gonna find Markiplier?
Was that the
There were actually a few things that I didn't run into because I kind of forgot that they weren't like part of the story. Like there is a destroyed ship on the map. I know that. I just thought it would be in one of the pictures. It wasn't. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I got to re-experience the game, and I think it was definitely better the second time knowing what was going on. Anyway, what are my theories about this world? I mean, it's like 100% everyone that was raptured became this pool. That's my thought process. They became a hive mind in this pool, and the way the movie ended was interesting. Markiplier's ship explodes. He dies. Spoiler alert. He dies. Markiplier's ship explodes, and Markiplier like kind of gets assimilated because that teeth monster that I mentioned earlier on, like I think it's him because he gets teeth like on his face, like the way his head looks like the monster. And I don't know really what the connection is between the hallucinations and the future and the past and whatever, but whatever. I gotta stop saying that word. The submarine explodes, right? And the fish explodes with it, but it's not, it's strange. The fish doesn't just explode like, oh, like bits and pieces are gonna now fly off. When it explodes, when the ship explodes in its mouth and it like breaks apart, it kind of like separates into little like goop monsters, like little goop beings that all like swim away like their own. They all just swim away as this fish gets like torn apart and it like separates in a weird way that's not just, oh, it exploded. So I think, yes, this blood has assimilation type properties that wants to assimilate all of these people and make them all one. But I think that the congealed blood or something of that sort, the hive mind can like control it and shape it into something like that. The bones and the flesh and the blood can all be formed into this big monster. Because like I said, in the game, you don't communicate with the fish or the collective, but Markiplier's movie has that happen. So I definitely think it's a hive mind. I just don't know what the fish is, you know? But listen, like I said at the beginning, if you're not a fan of slow burns, you probably won't like this movie. I do think you should still support it because it is a very, very cool project. It's impressive no matter which angle you look at it from, you know, the set design or the acting or the makeup department, the costume design, the lore build up. Like I was fully invested in the world, much more than I was with this game. Really, the only criticism I had for the movie was that some of it kind of dragged, but for me, not in a bad way. There was only one scene that I thought really dragged in a bad way, and it was the introductory stuff. Because there were a few parts in the beginning where Markiplier was kind of just sitting there and like breathing. I mean, yeah, you know, soak up the dread, you know, like really consider what's going on from his perspective. But I don't know, some of that could have been cut. I don't know. I think the pacing was pretty well done. Go support it. I'll give it. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. I loved every second of it. Maybe upon rewatch, it'll be different, but an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. Truly, it was really good. And Markiplier, I know you're not seeing this, but if you are seeing this, you and David Szymanski did a phenomenal job. And if you want some help making an SCP project, I got some ideas off the noggin. All right, I got some ideas, so hit a brother up if you think your next project's gonna be some SCP related stuff. Hit your brother up. Thanks for watching. This video was a whole hell of a mess. Mixing gameplay and a movie review was probably not the play, but we'll see. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys probably with Secret of the Mimic next. Bye-bye. It's just like Markiplier.